I, Andrew, and my wife, Natalie, became a married couple when we were both around 25 years old. We were classmates at the same university. After 6 years of dating, since we were 19 years old, our long-awaited marriage finally came to fruition.
I love you, Natalie.
I love you too, Andrew. Even when we become grandparents, let's always stay close together and get along. Let's be best friends forever. During the early days of our marriage, it felt like we were living out scenes from a typical cheesy couple's playbook, having those kind of silly conversations almost every night. Just a year after we got married, we were overjoyed to welcome a beautiful baby girl into our lives. Our married life was truly smooth sailing, filled with happiness and harmony. Our daughter grew up so quickly and flourished, and before we knew it, she was ready to enter college. Our daughter's pursuit of higher education led her to start living independently, allowing us to resume a married life without children at home. Due to our age, our intimate moments became quite infrequent. However, I continue to love my wife just as I did at the beginning of our marriage. I had thought that Natalie would continue to be by my side, unchanged, just like before, until we become grandparents. But the reality is, I heard Miss Miller's husband has been promoted to department head.
Oh, really?
I can't help but feel a bit envious of Miss Miller. It must be nice for her. And then there's my husband. Despite being 45, he's still stuck as a section chief.
Well, there's nothing I can do, right? I work for a big company, so the hierarchy is quite extensive. Just having the position of a section chief is already something to be grateful for. It's more than enough to be thankful for, you know?
What's so great about a big company, despite the low salary? I really lacked judgment. If I could go back 20 years, I would tell my younger self that marrying such a good-for-nothing wouldn't bring happiness. I wish I could give her that advice, I really do. At that time, I was 45 years old. In comparison, the average age of individuals holding the position of a section chief around the world is also 45 years old. And my annual income, excluding bonuses, was around $76,000. Considering that this is the income a 45-year-old man can expect, it should be relatively good compared to the average. I hate it. I hate it. How long do I have to continue this miserable life?
You're being miserable. I'm sure I contribute my entire salary to the household. Isn't it still not enough?
Of course it's not enough. Charlotte's attending a private university and tuition fees are expensive. In this day and age, it's not easy to find a part-time job either. I have to provide financial support, you know.
Well, I guess you have a point.
Honestly, you have no idea about the difficulty of managing the household finances. Don't nitpick on everything I say.
I'm not nitpicking, really. If the household finances are so tight, why don't you consider getting a part-time job?
Huh?
Lately, it seems like you're going out somewhere every day. If you have that much free time, why not earn some pocket money for Charlotte?
What's that supposed to mean? Are you being sarcastic?
I'm just stating the obvious. These days, you hardly do any household chores. Shouldn't you contribute something to the family?
You have no right to act all high and mighty when you know nothing about the struggles of being a full-time housewife. Well, I do admit that my remarks were a bit sarcastic, but I don't think I said anything wrong. That's why Natalie is going crazy, because I've struck a nerve. However, simply bombarding her with logical arguments won't be enough. she'll only become more stubborn. I've always maintained a neutral position, even when I'm at home. I should consult our family mediator. With that in mind, I waited for Natalie to be out of the house. I decided to give our daughter Charlotte a call. Seriously? Has Mom been acting like that lately?
It's been that way since around the time you started living on your own. Before that, she used to take care of the household chores properly. She never complained about my earnings or anything.
Is it possible that it's menopause or something?
Even if it is, isn't it a bit too sudden? One day, it just changed out of the blue. I have a suspicion that someone is giving unnecessary advice to your mom.
Ah, that's a possibility indeed. So, do you have any idea who might be giving Mom that advice?
For now, her mommy friends seem like the top candidates, I guess. Beyond that, I really don't know. Even I don't have a complete grasp of her social circle.
But unless you eliminate the root cause, nothing will be resolved, right? If you want to continue having a good relationship with Mom in the future, maybe it's better to hire a detective and find out the root cause?
A detective, huh?
Taking the advice of Charlotte, our only daughter, and the family mediator, I decided to uncover the cause behind Natalie's sudden transformation. I decided to hire a detective to investigate Natalie's personal life. Since marrying Natalie, I have been receiving a monthly allowance of $220, but I don't drink or smoke. I had enough savings to afford hiring a detective. Then, on a Saturday, about 2 weeks after hiring the detective, I visited the detective's office in the morning to hear the results of the investigation on Natalie.
Have you finished investigating my wife's social circle? Yes, but the reason I called you here today is it's a separate matter. Separate matter? It's difficult for me to say, but it seems that your wife is involved in an extramarital affair with another man. What? An affair? Are you sure it's not a mistake? No. It seems to be an undeniable fact. Our staff was conducting surveillance on your wife recently, and they obtained this conclusive evidence of the affair in the form of these photos. What? What on earth is this?
The head of the detective agency took out a plain photograph from a brown A4 envelope. It was an unremarkable photo at first glance. But what was astonishing was the subject and content captured in that photo. There was my wife, Natalie, with a young man from nowhere. The image showed them going inside together.
It seems that this man is like your wife's parasite. A parasite? You mean a man who relies on a woman for financial support and can't stand on his own? Excuse me? Yes, that's the parasite.
According to the detective, wherever those two go, Natalie would handle all the expenses. Apparently, she even gave the man an allowance when they parted ways. There is a significantly high possibility that the man is an unemployed parasite. In other words,
I can't believe that scumbag was leeching off her.
So that means your salary is low, right, Dad? All the complaints and arguments were because...
I guess she spent too much on that guy and it caused financial difficulties. As a result, she demanded even more from me.
What? Are you kidding me, that old bat?
That's why I wanted to talk to you. Can you listen to me?
Sure, what is it?
Well, you see... Gosh.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine.
What? Are you sure? I thought you might not be too keen on it at your age.
Well, when I meet up with my boyfriend, I can just go to his place. I was starting to feel a bit homesick myself, so it works out. It's just the right timing, I guess.
What? Boyfriend?
I kind of ended up knowing things I didn't want to know. Anyway, now we have the prep work to hunt down Natalie done. It's going to be a while before we can actually put the plan into action. Even though I've been quietly working behind the scenes, Natalie has completely turned into a woman who no longer pays any attention to our family. It's unlikely that she will even realize what I'm up to. It's been about 3 weeks since I started laying the groundwork for my plan to take revenge upon Natalie. I can't stand it. Being with a gloomy guy like you, it's making me feel down too.
Oh, really? Sorry, I guess. But it's almost 100% your fault that I'm gloomy inside the house.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
Exactly what I just said.
You're such a small-minded man. Just because you're a pathetic man who can't achieve anything in your career doesn't mean you can take out your frustration on me.
I'm just returning the frustration that has built up because of you.
What? Do you have a problem with what I say?
I don't have anything but problems. Every single day, you're out gallivanting with money that other people have earned.
Even housewives have neighborhood obligations. Thanks to me, we get along well with the neighbors. You should be grateful, if anything.
Neighbors? You mean lovers, right?
Huh?
You're having an affair, aren't you?
What nonsense are you talking about? There's no way.
Well, I have the evidence I obtained from the detective, you know.
Detective? Why would you do such a thing?
Why do I have to ask for your permission all the time? Besides, you're having an affair, so just admit it honestly.
You're annoying. It's just some casual affair, it's not like that. It's no different from you going to gentlemen's clubs for entertainment.
I don't go to gentlemen's clubs and take them to hotels like you do.
Ha! You're so annoying. It's your fault that I had an affair. It's because you don't pay attention to me. I haven't done anything wrong. If you have a problem with what I do, then why don't you leave? I'll do just fine without you and your low salary.
Okay then, I'll be happy to do just that.
What? For Natalie, it might have been a case of tit for tat, but for me, it was a long-awaited opportunity. While facing away from Natalie's perplexed gaze, I calmly opened the closet in the room we used when our daughter Charlotte was still living with us. I held 2 duffel bags that I had hidden there and declared to Natalie,
I have decided to rent a house near Charlotte's university from now on. Charlotte has already given her permission for us to live separately, so I will leave right away.
Wait, hold on a moment.
Even though we will be living separately, I still have an obligation to support my wife until the divorce is finalized. I will make sure to provide the bare minimum for living expenses, but I don't think I can afford to support you like a man would. If you still insist on being supported, why don't you get a job yourself, even part-time?
Separation? Divorce? Wait a minute. If you divorce me,
If you're so worried about living expenses, why don't you make the freeloading man work? Well, it's highly unlikely that a man in his 30s with no job history would suddenly start earning the same salary as me.
Call Charlotte. Call Charlotte now.
I think it's useless to do that.
Huh? Blocked call?
That's right. Well, it looks like even the one person who was neutral has had enough. Your life seems pretty bleak now, doesn't it?
No, please, wait! Even though I was told I don't want it anymore by her at this late stage, those were the feelings I had, so I coldly brushed Natalie, who was clinging to me in tears, aside. I left the home filled with cherished memories of my precious family. Of course, Natalie was not included in that. The divorce mediation that followed was quite contentious. I presented the evidence of her affair that I had collected through a detective, as well as evidence of the significant amount of money she had given to her lover. As a result, after approximately 6 months, our divorce was finalized, with Natalie being found at fault. Of course, I also pursued the money owed to me by her lover. So, I filed a lawsuit and managed to get $21,000 in compensation. From Natalie, I collected compensation for her infidelity and the repayment of the personal savings she has spent, totaling about $42,000. Afterwards, Natalie tried to reconcile with me and made multiple attempts to contact me and Charlotte. But ultimately, a restraining order was issued by the court, putting an end to it. Currently, it seems that Natalie has run out of money and has been abandoned, even by her freeloading man. She is living alone, working part-time, struggling to make ends meet. After leaving the house I shared with Natalie, I stayed at Charlotte's apartment for about 2 months, relying on her kindness. Later, we found a house with ample space for just the two of us to live together, and we moved there. Currently, I am enjoying a peaceful and serene life with my daughter, who is now a third-year university student. In just 1 more year, Charlotte will likely find employment and leave my side. Until then, I've decided to fully enjoy this happiness to the utmost. Ideally, I would like to find a new partner for myself before Charlotte marries her current boyfriend. I hope to meet a wonderful woman who possesses a sense of independence and is willing to walk alongside me as a team, supporting each other as a married couple. If I find someone like that, it would be fantastic. This time, we can create a strong and affectionate bond, cherishing our time together as a couple until we become old grandparents.